Hello everyone, Simsy Claire here and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I think I should probably call this a Sims 4 furnish because this is just a furnishing episode. However, we are finishing up our seasonal townhouses. Now I'm really excited about this one. Spring was a really cute townhouse, but I think summer and fall are definitely my two favorites, so I'm really excited to share those with you guys as well. And here we are jumping right into summer. So this is the interior. I wanted to use a lot of green palm looking plants because when you think of summer, you think of the beach or like oases, like really beautiful beach scenery areas. And a lot of those have palm trees and really green plants, not a whole lot of flowers, but really green, lush plants. So I wanted to make sure I incorporated those as much as possible. And I also used this Caribbean furniture we got in a base game update because if you didn't watch the first part of this series, all of these townhouses are base game and seasons only. So I wanted to kind of change things up a little bit and not use, the seasons couches for everything and just give a whole different vibe to this build from the spring and what ends up being fall and winter. So that's why I went with those Caribbean couches. I also think it matched really well with summer because, as I was saying, when you think of summer, you think of beaches and vacations and just relaxing outside and enjoying nature. So I really wanted to use the Caribbean couches because it makes me think of the beach and basically kind of the island living pack, which if I was using all of my packs, I totally would have used island living for this townhouse, but I'm not. So I went with those base game couches. And then for the kitchen, I'm using the base game rustic wood counters that you can see here. Now I'm a little frustrated. I have never noticed this before, but it looks like the cabinets don't match the wood swatches on the counters. Now I know it matches the exterior wood, but it doesn't match the wood on the countertops, and I think that that's really weird because you can't really see the exterior wood in like these kitchens. It's not, because it's mostly the metal and the countertops that you see, and then there's just these randomly colored cabinets. But I didn't want to do an open kitchen because without using all the packs, there isn't as much clutter as there usually is, so I didn't want to have too many shelves to just put a whole bunch of repeat items on. But over back here, I am doing like a little area right by the back door. Now all of the townhouses have a little outdoor patio area, but none of them really have a lot to do on those patio areas. Their trash cans end up back there, and then a couple of other like just landscaping items because, again, if you missed the first part of this, I did do an outdoor community area for them, so that's why I chose to leave the other spaces a little blank. Now, for this build, I was really struggling a little bit with what I wanted to do because summer to me is like a fun time. I'm not the biggest fan of summer, but that's the season when I want to be outside the most. I want to enjoy the sun. I want to be with friends and family. And so I wanted this to kind of be, I was initially thinking like a party area where like the Sims could host different parties. So I didn't want to do a living room there, and I also didn't think I'd have the space to put any couches. So I end up just placing a rug, and then I believe I moved, you saw it right there for a split second. I moved the dining table and then added a bar. So that's how I end up filling the space. And then up here, you saw a little bit of it at the beginning of the video because this is probably my favorite room I furnish out of all the townhouses. I use this base game wallpaper with the palm leaves on it, and I never used this wallpaper, but it looked so good with these warm wood tones on the floor, and for a summer build, I thought it was just perfect. And then I used the Caribbean chairs and couches again because, again, I think it just matched the theme a little bit, and this is the family's living room. So this is where they spend like all their time together, although this isn't a family house. So I kind of pictured that this one would be two roommates. They could be related, they could be brothers and sisters or something like that, but I did picture that this was more for roommates than a full family. I furnished it for 2 adult Sims, and I gave them this like balcony area that looks over this living room, and one of the bedrooms is upstairs and then one of the bedrooms is on this floor. So I was really struggling with what to put in this area here. I had put that bookshelf off to the side there, and so I wanted an area for them to kind of sit and do some work because I thought maybe they were students. And so I was like, maybe I can, and I end up adding a desk there. And as I said in the last video, I cut out all of the bathrooms, but I forgot I left this one in because I didn't use the seasons items. I used the base game stuff. So that is why I decided to leave this one in, so you could see what I did when I didn't use seasons bathroom stuff. But here is where I put in that desk real quick, and then I added that blue rug to kind of tie in the blue that I had used downstairs. And then here is the first bedroom. So as I said, I did picture it was for 2 adult Sims, probably roommates, maybe their relatives, but definitely roommates. And I figured this one would use the desk out in the family room, and then upstairs on the balcony there is another little desk for the other Sim to use. And I'm just cluttering up the end tables right now. I wanted to use this bed here because the green on it, it's a little spring-like, but I thought that it worked well enough with the rest of the green in the house that I could pull it off for summer, so that's why I wanted to use it. And then I'm using the seasons mirror again and that snake plant right there because I just went shopping with my mom. She really wanted some plants for her apartment since she's still kind of like really scared to go out right now, so she wanted to bring some more plants and some life back into her apartment. So she went ahead and bought some plants, and when I saw that was one of the plants that she had bought, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw this in here because those plants look really good in real life, so I wanted to use them in here. And then this is that balcony area that I was talking about, so I just placed a picture and a plant there. It's another one of those palm plants, and then another little study area for the Sims and some bookshelves. And then I was really struggling with the artwork in this build because I didn't know exactly, I didn't want to be too repetitive, but there was only so much that I could do because this is base game and seasons only, so I was trying to make the pictures look different, like use different swatches, use different sizes of them, so I hope that it doesn't get too repetitive for you guys. But this is the other bedroom. Now this is a very small bedroom. You see that there's a little extension off to the side. That is where I end up putting their dresser because I figured that was like a walk-in closet because I didn't have enough room for a dresser where the Sim could walk around it, so I put the dresser and the mirror in here, and then a few clutter items, and I also believe I put some of the hanging wall, these guys, the hanging wall clothes as well, just to make sure that it kind of just finished off the space a little bit more. And then we are moving right into fall. So as I said, fall is it's my favorite season, and I think that it's my favorite townhouse as well. The fall townhouse ends up being a lot more homey, I want to say, than some of the other ones. I was initially going to go for dark brick, but then I realized I didn't have any brick on the exterior, so it'd be really weird if there was just exposed brick on the interior. And I was really looking I wanted an orange wallpaper, but all of the orange wallpapers we have in the game are super bright, and they're not really like that deep, dark, like orange that you find like on this pumpkin right here. They're these bright, obnoxious ones. So I decided just to do this dark medium tone like taupey color, and I think it ends up looking okay because I do a lot of orange accents. You can see me adding some of them here, and I bring in the fall colors with a lot of the decorations. So it was a little frustrating that I couldn't use a fall color on the wall, but I think it turns out okay. And this is the entrance area. I wanted to give each townhouse their own different floor plan, so I tried really hard to keep them a little different. This one is kind of similar, but this is also the only one where the kitchen is not open, so I was really happy that I was able to get one of those in here. And this little nook is where the TV is. Now this is a very small TV. If I remember correctly, I do give them another family room upstairs that's a little bit bigger. It has a little bit more space to it, but this is kind of like the formal living area. It's very rustic. It has the old-time suitcase looking thing holding up their TV. They have the seasons couches and chairs, and they have this old rustic dining table that's made out of planked wood. And I think that's why I love this townhouse so much, because everything is very, very rustic. It's very reminiscent of the farmhouse that I built, actually, which it's my favorite style. It would be my personal choice if I was designing a home. So I think that's why this is my favorite. And then I pulled out some spice bottles to just decorate the table a little bit more because it looked a little bare. And I couldn't find the salt and pepper shakers. I know that they exist, but I just couldn't find them, so I decided just to use 2 different spice bottles, and I think that it looked okay. And yes, technically the spice bottles are from Seasons, or not from Seasons, from City Living, but I had it ticked off Seasons and base game only, and they still popped up, so I think it'll be okay. I'm thinking that maybe since it was a debug item, it's still labeled as base game, but even if it's not, I mean, you can still just download this and you'll only be missing 2 spice bottles, so I think that that's okay. And then I'm coming in and just cluttering up the kitchen. And I do a little plant corner over here just to fill up the space. And I give them a little kitchen area to sit down. Maybe while they're cooking food, they sit down and read a book or something. Sometimes I do that when I'm baking. I'll put something in the oven with the timer on. And then I'll sit down at the table we have in my kitchen and just read or play The Sims while I'm waiting for the bake to be done. So I thought that that was a cute little addition. And then here, as I said in the last video, I kind of gave all of these townhouses rooms for laundry because I forgot that I wouldn't have laundry since I was doing only base games and Seasons. So initially this was supposed to be the laundry room and kind of like a utility area, but I end up just making it the area by the back door, and I think it looks okay. It was really long shape, but the rug filled it up very nicely. And then this is the downstairs bathroom. So the shape of this is really weird. You saw me, I cut out a lot of me struggling with the, the shower, because everywhere I was putting it, I didn't think the sim would be able to reach it, but that's where I decided to leave it. So I wanted to show you guys that one just to make sure, to show you that that bathroom does work. But then this is the landing area from the staircases. So it's a little bit of a big area. I didn't intend on it being that big when I first built it, but I think it turns out okay. I just decorate this table with some lights and a little bit of the fall leaves that we got from Seasons. I tried not to make it too holiday-ish. Now in the winter build, I do put a Winterfest tree up, I will say that, but I tried to just keep it straight for the season and not the holidays that are in the seasons. But it's really hard because a lot of the decorations we got with Seasons are directed towards the holidays, so I hope you guys don't mind that some of them turn out, like some of the rooms look like they're a little bit more for holidays than they are just for Seasons. And then these are the 2 kids rooms. So I did decorate this for a kid and a toddler, so this is going to be the kids room. I got the little guitar bed over there, and I got the bookshelf and a couple of chairs and stuff for a little reading nook. And I also give them the children's violin. I start with this one, but then I end up giving them the other one as well. And then the arts and craft table from Seasons. I really wish we had kids guitars. I think that that would be really cool. And I was also really missing my kids room stuff and my parenthood stuff decals with that one, because there would have been so much more stuff on the walls to clutter everything up. And I think that honestly, kids rooms are the hardest part about doing limited pack builds, because base game did not come with a lot of items to do kids or toddlers with, and so I was really missing out on some of my clutter items from some of my other packs, but I think I did okay. The toddler room that you see me building here is a little bare. I give them another little reading nook off into that little hallway area you see to the right, and then a dinosaur and some of the toddler only toys like the iPad. I don't think it's technically called an iPad, but the iPad and the blocks, and then a toy box as well, which I did not give the kids, so I figured it'd be kind of nice if they did have at least a single toy box somewhere in the townhouse. And then up here is the parents' room, so I do get a double bed in here, and basic essentials, the dresser and everything. And then in the hallway, I just put a simple painting. I don't even think I remember to put a curtain on the window. We'll see in a minute if I do remember, but I'm pretty sure that I don't. But going into this area, this is going to be the study/work area, and then also the family's living room. So I really wanted them to have a woodworking table, because when I think of fall, honestly, I kind of think of Gilmore Girls, which is, this is going somewhere, okay, I promise. So I think of Gilmore Girls, and then when I think of Gilmore Girls, I think of Luke, working on his dad's boat in that, one season, those 2 episodes, and him doing, all the housework for Lorelai and Rory's house, and him working on basically everything for them, because that's what he does. He fixes everything up for them. And so when I was like, I'm going to build this autumn townhouse. I really wanted the woodworking table in here, but I couldn't find a good place for it inside the build, so it does end up going downstairs in their backyard, which I think kind of just makes more sense to begin with anyway. But I do get 2 desks and a bookshelf in here, so that was kind of nice. And I did remember to put curtains on the window, so that's also a bonus. But here, like I said, I'm just doing some basic clutter items. I gave them a standing mirror for the sole purpose of it taking up more space, that I didn't have to find clutter items to fill because I was running out of clutter items. And then I do a quick little picture and lamp over in the corner, and then I start on the bathroom. And I do apologize, I guess I did leave the bathrooms in. I totally thought I cut them all out, but maybe I left them in since I decided to split this into 2 videos instead of leaving it as one. Maybe I just put them back in there. But now we are back, or now we are into winter. So winter, I kind of figured might be a bit more of a modern home, a modern family home. I do believe I have 2 bedrooms in here. And the floor plan is a little different than the others. It's all black and white color scheme, and they do end up with a home gym, but we're starting with the downstairs, and I was really struggling with what to do the walls, because at first I really kind of didn't want to do all black and white, and then I made the parents' room this dark blue, and then the kids' room a dark green, kind of like an evergreen color. And so I decided to leave the walls in the house white, so that way it could be a contrast from the bedrooms. And here I'm just doing the entranceway. So the entranceway is pretty basic. It's kind of the same as the other ones. I leave it more minimal, less cluttered, to try and give it that modern feel. And I kind of like how this one ends up turning out. As I said, it's not one of my favorites because my favorite was fall and summer, but it does turn out really good. And I think this one does look the most different from the other ones because I tried to make it a bit more modern. So I think that that's kind of nice as well. Over back in here, we're going to have we have some plants underneath the stairs, and the floor plan is basically going to be right where I am now is going to be the dining room. So I pull out this base game all glass table, and then the more like fine dining seasons chairs that we got, the less rustic looking ones, and then a white and blue rug, because it really just reminded me of like those clay animation TV shows that they play on like ABC Family when summer or winter comes around, like the one with, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the elf that wanted to be a dentist, and then Mr. Freezemeister and everything. That rug reminded me of Mr. Freezemeister's home, so I wanted to use that one once I saw it. And then here I do end up doing the open kitchen plan, but you'll notice in the screenshots I leave one half of the kitchen completely undecorated because I ran out of items to use. So that's a little unfortunate. I do decorate this side quite a bit, and I get some books up there, and I pull out those seasons planters, the ones that you can get from decorating in the flower arranging. And one of the neighbors has a flower arranging table, the spring one does, so I thought maybe winter was the last family to move in, so the springtime family made them a nice little floral arrangement as a welcoming gift for them. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. And then over here I just get a couple of glass cabinets for their china and a couple of pictures. And then back here, again, this was supposed to be the laundry room, but obviously that couldn't happen, so I get a couple of those decoration boxes in here, something where they could put their coats up from after they've been outside, and just a couple of wall decorations as well. And then you saw I placed some plants underneath the stairs. I end up placing another one on top of the stairs too. That should not block your sim from going up the stairs. If it does though, I'll take it out before I upload this into the gallery. And then here I'm just decorating the parents' room. So it's again a season's bed, but I think that this is the only the second time that I used it. I was trying to do really well with not using it in every single parent's bedroom, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. And it was a very basic room. We did it real quick. I literally just added the seasons dresser and then some decorations on the dresser. And then up here is the landing area. So I really struggled with this floor plan a lot because, as I said, I was trying to make all the floor plans look different. So you'll see we have a landing area that leads into a hallway that leads into like another open landing area kind of. So this is the office, and I do give them 2 computers instead of 1, as I was doing in the other builds, because I figured both parents that kind of maybe had like business jobs or something like that. That was just where I was going, so I wanted to make sure they had enough space to do all of their work. And I also thought maybe one was a teacher or something, so they needed a computer, but one that could travel around with them. I don't know. I was also, since it was more of a modern build, I probably would have used the city living computer if I had the option. So I think that's why I went with the laptops, because they seemed a bit more modern than some of the other computers we have in the game. And then this is the kids room. So I decorate this with a green theme, and I was kind of thinking that this kid was really smart. He was really into like robotics and science and everything. Initially I gave them an art easel, you can see it right there, but I do end up switching that out for the kids science table. And if you saw there, the green thing that popped up on my screen, someone favorited one of my lots, so shout out to whoever it was who favorited the Brindleton farm lot. Thank you for your support. And this is the other landing area that I was talking about that was kind of weird, that the landing area led into a hallway that led into another landing area. This is where I end up putting their family room. And I used this other set of Seasons couches because they're definitely a bit more modern looking than the other ones. They're a bit sleeker, and I also never use them except for outside. So I was kind of like, okay, it'd be kind of cool to put these inside. And they have the black and the white, and then the green that I was throwing around. And then you also saw there, that's where I add the Winterfest tree. It is fully decorated, and it's white and gold, and I thought that it just really matched the theme I was going for, but it also filled up the space really nicely. So I do apologize if you don't like the fact that it has the Winterfest tree, but it screamed winter to me, and I just decided to leave it in. And then up here is where the home gym is going to go. So they just have this simple little hallway area where the stairs are, and then it leads into this open little nook, I guess. I end up putting a chair, I believe, back there, like a little seating area. But here I'm just messing around with the windows, making sure that they're covered with the curtains. And I do use, obviously these are only base game gym items, but these are from the Ignore gameplay cheat. It shouldn't affect when you download it from the gallery. They should still be there, but obviously if they're not, you just have to go in and replace them. It should be super easy to find them. But that is it for this build. Winter is completely finished, so I hope you all enjoyed this little idea of seasonal townhouses, and I hope you all stick around for my next video, so I will see you all then. Bye!